Good day, good evening, wherever you are joining us from across the world. Welcome to another broadcast of the Investor's Guide. This is a program that is designed to really help business owners, aspiring business owners, to learn about doing business, to learn about leadership. On this platform, we definitely talk about debt, equity, and credit capital, but we also bring you a range of subject matter experts from all over the world that can give you their perspective on leadership, their perspective on doing business, that can really help to leapfrog your chances of being more successful in what you're doing. Today, I'm happy to say that we have a world-class athlete who is sitting here with us today. His name is Curtis Mitchell. And if you are any part of sprint running, any part of the athletic world, that name is supposed to ring a bell to you. He's no ordinary person. This is the bronze winner who would have run with Usain Bolt and came out successful in that athlete. So without further ado, I want to welcome Curtis Mitchell to the platform. He is not just an athlete. He is a businessman who is doing tremendously well for himself. And we are happy to be collaborating with Curtis in supporting his vision to move a process forward. Without any delay, welcome, my friend.
Hey, Gary, thanks. Nice being here.
So, Curtis, I looked a little bit at your history, and I'm really impressed with the kind of commitment that you are bringing to the table. I talked with you also on a number of occasions, and I recognize that, sports for you, athletics for you is not just a casual thing. You commit blood, sweat, and tears. You commit time, talent, and resources day in and day out behind what you do. I'm not surprised that entire persona, you brought it over to business. And I know that you're about to do some massive, massive projects in real estate. We'll talk about that stuff. But tell us, what really inspired you before we come to business? What inspired you as an athlete?
For me, it's always been to reach my full potential, and to be the best in the world. I'm fueled by wanting to be Olympic and world champion, and just really wanting to be at my ultimate self, my best self. So, just putting in the hard work, staying consistent, at it, is what fuels me, knowing that when it's over, it's over. So I don't want to walk away from my sport with a coulda, shoulda, woulda mentality. I know what type of gifts and type of skills that I have, but I also know my dedication. So I know the work that I'm willing to put in order to achieve, the highest form that I can in the sport of track and field. I feel like I can go faster. And, I look at all the previous success that I've had. Those are just benchmarkers, right? Those are just guidelines for me to say, hey man, if I was able to achieve this in, my younger years, and I stay consistent with my habits. I stay on the grind. If I keep at this, what else can I accomplish? And I think every great, successful person, you never get complacent. Yes, it would have been easy to just still have that same mindset and be okay with what's already done. But I feel like for me, the way I'm wired, like I'm just getting started. And that's just what burns my fire. And my fire still burns the same. I know with the right environment, the right conditions, all the things that I've accumulated, the knowledge, as you get older and as you get more mature, whether you're in athletics or you're in the business world, right? You want to continue to grow. So I'm still at that point where I'm growing, and I'm just excited because I'm like, man, if I put all this together now, given what I was able to do, when I was younger, and I take care of my body, I stay committed, I know God can really do some big things in my life. So that's really what fuels me. And just a big part of me wants to kind of change this dynamic and this mindset that people have, especially as athletes get older. Oftentimes when people get to the 30-year-old mark, people think you're supposed to decline. But if you're taking care of your body, man, and you're doing what you're supposed to do, I want to be able to be that voice, that story that people look and say, man, that's how you do it. This guy had a complete story. This guy came from when he was 18 years old, sleeping in the garage, earning a scholarship at junior college, going to Texas A&M University in 2010, only taking me 1 year to be NCAA champion, ranked #1 in the world, signing a contract, and then going pro. So it's so much more to the story. And I just want to continue evolving until I know the good Lord say, hey, time to get up, time to go in the other direction. So from that standpoint, I just know my sport is just going to continue to open so many more doors, and you just be grateful. Why not continue to do this at a high level? Why not travel the world and compete with the best runners in the world? And ultimately that's going to migrate because I'm already doing business. So when we talk about the business aspect, I've already been running as a business. I've already had a business mindset. So the exciting part is marrying, this newfound interest to the sports world. As you continue to evolve as an athlete, you just, open more doors to different people who can help you go to the next level. So, I just want to just really leave my mark, man. And I really I'm a guy that understands, man, when this is over, it's over. We don't get time back. And like I said, God has truly blessed me to be able to say, I've been able to live out my dreams throughout all of my 20s. I'm in my 30s. I feel incredible. I'm taking care of myself. I'm mindful. And, and that's ultimately, success, man. So that's just what keeps my fire burning, to sum it up.
Awesome. I love this. Now, for the viewers, in the event that you are now joining this interview, I'm talking today with Curtis Mitchell, and he is the bronze winner, U.S. bronze winner. You mentioned the 2010 NCAA national champion, but before I come to that, I want to go through some of your success story. I think you would have won the American 200-meter sprint. Would you care to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so after 2000 bronze medal, I won the 200-meter national title the following year in 20. And I was ranked #1 in the world, the American. So, that was my first senior title. Unfortunately, it was an off year. Had that been an Olympic year, I would have gotten my chance to go to the Olympic Games, being the #1 ranked American runner, and really just seizing that opportunity and riding that momentum that I had in 2013. But, that's just how track and field is. Track and field, we have a 3-year cycle where it's Worlds, Olympic Games, Worlds, then we have an off year, and then the cycle starts over again. And we're currently in that cycle. So back when I won it in 2014, we was just going into our off year. So it wasn't no major championship, but I still was able to take home that USA title and be crowned as champion.
So before I come to the world bronze medal, let us talk a little bit about 2010 NCAA national championship. What was that win like for you while you was at Texas?
Yeah, so the indoor 200-meter race. It was a day after my birthday. It was the indoor championships. A day after my birthday. I'm from Florida, so I had never ran on an indoor track ever. Previously, my junior college was in California, San Diego, so we definitely didn't have any indoors. So everything was outdoors. So coming into the indoor season, I ended up running the fastest time in the world that year, and I won 20.38. I broke a 23-year-old Texas A&M school record. This was my first year. This was the indoor season, so that for me was the eye opener. Like, hey, I can really do this now. I can really take this thing to the next level, because that was my whole goal. Going to the professional ranks, lining up with Usain Bolt, being super inspired. But I knew what I had to do in the college rankings. I knew I had to take care of business. And for me, that was that first check, that first major test that I tested myself. Okay, pressure environment. A guy before that from Florida State in the first heat, he had just ran the fastest time in the world. So I had to watch him run that race, and they already had crowned him. So for me to come in the next heat with all the pressure going, and for me to step up and run, the race of my life, that was the beginning. Not really the beginning, but I knew, okay, I'm a championship runner. I'm born for this. I'm made for this. I can handle the pressure, and I got something special. So let's just stay focused. I'll take care of business. So that definitely unlocked a whole nother mindset for me. So it felt good.
Awesome. Now, I want us to dig in a little bit into the world bronze medalist because you are, as I said, you are not just running at a national level, you're running at an international level. And you had to compete with one of the fastest runners in the world out of Jamaica, Usain Bolt. But you run that race and you come out triumphant. You come out with bronze. Um, Let us talk about the mindset and the preparation to come out victorious against one of the world fastest runners.
Yeah, mindset was, um, you know, I belong here, and I kind of proved it through the rounds. I kind of was in a happy place. I finally tapped into the flow state, and that was the best time to really tap into it. The season for me was a test. Different races was challenging me. I was going through different situations. I was learning. I was figuring things out. I was tweaking things, and leading up into that championships is when everything clicked. So I think just super dialed in, being super confident into my skills and believing in myself. All that is really self-belief. At this point, nobody's gonna believe in you but you. All we got is, we're not gonna, whatever we got at this point is what we have. So who's strong in between here, in between your ears? Who has that mental game point? Who's not gonna let pressure get to them? It's so easy to get caught up into the Usain Bolt hype and just what comes with, even being in the same environment as Usain Bolt, let alone the same race. So the mindset for me was just go out here and believe in myself, give it everything I got. And, I think, those rounds, if you watch that race, from the opening round, I took it out. I was very confident, but I was there to really prove to myself that, this is it. In sports, when you get to a level like that, when you get in these type of situations, you have to absolutely seize the moment. So it's no time for doubt, no time for anything like that. You have to believe. I went into that race trying to beat Usain Bolt. Make no mistake about it. I wanted to win that race. Make no mistake about it. But you respect and you honor who he is and what he did. And but end of the day, we're still competing. We're still competitors. But you never know if you're ever going to get this chance again. And it's such a unique situation. And if you get in the finals at a major championship, anything can happen. I don't care what they have on who they said is going to take first, second, and third. You have to run this race. And going into that race, these article people, everybody had that Jamaica was going to take the 1, 2, 3 sweep. And my training partner actually was from Jamaica. They had him taking the bronze. So he was the guy that I dipped out to break that up. So it was a little thing there as well for me being the only American in that race and breaking up the Jamaican trio that everyone predicted that will happen. So, but again, I didn't come in listening to none of that. I came in simply executing. I was confident, but I just really seized the moment. And I told myself, okay, this is really about who has the biggest heart. We all competitors. This is what we've done growing up. Your legs versus my legs. So let's get it. And that's when that switch, switched on for me. It was just game time.
Love that. Now, I want to just dig a little deeper into the preparation for this. And then I want to show how that kind of preparation, you have now transitioned all of that into business. Now, I know we have spoken on platforms before, we have spoken about this before, and what kind of uh, dietary, focus, do you focus on any specific food type, um, rest, exercise? Tell us about the discipline around food and rest and exercise when you're preparing to come up against, a world-class, sports personality.
Yes. All these super dialed in. All these things to, very and very well. For me, I eat a lot of organic food base. alkaline type of diet. You want to make sure your body is operating at the highest level. You're only putting the best in your body. You're making sure you're getting the right adequate amounts of sleep. And even now, just learning about my recovery process and just how to train and compete and to be an athlete is really not about even preparation for a championships. This is things that you do year round. It's a lifestyle. How are you taking care of your body, your mind? I've been up, take today for instance, I don't have the world championships tomorrow, but I still got up this morning at 3:30 a.m. I was still in the gym doing my jump rope session, doing my hot sauna, doing my meditation, drinking my ginger, my teas, making sure I'm taking my protein shake, looking after my body. I'm gonna take a nap here pretty soon to recharge my body. I have uh, a tracking device that tracks my strain, my heart rate variability, all these different metrics that I take when I'm looking at my body from a day basis. And this is what you talk about when you bring it to business, because, I want to be the last man standing. I believe I attack everything like a gladiator, like a warrior. So the times that I'm waking up in the morning time, the times that I do have to myself, I take these times very, very serious, because this is a game changer to life. When you talk about your health, when you talk about your mental, health, and just being able to perform, your reservoir, your health reservoir, that health bank pouring into yourself. You got to understand, because that's the ultimate wisdom. And me being an athlete and being blessed to be a world-class athlete, I just build off that every single day. Like, why not? So for me, it's easy to take this blueprint wherever I'm at in life, whether I'm in the athletic realm, the business realm. This is the blueprint. The blueprint always stays the same. And that's strict diet. We early risers. We grind in the dark to shine in the light. So that morning routine, you eating the right foods, because if you eat crap, you're gonna feel like crap. You can't think, you can't operate. If you have sugar in your body, you eating high anti-inflammatory foods. If your body's inflamed, you're all over the place. That's gonna create chaos. So when you're truly, truly, truly trying to get at greatness, you have to tap into that, because you're just not gonna be able to get there, and it's not gonna be sustainable. That's like if I go get a Ferrari or a Lamborghini right now and I go put 87 gas in that Lamborghini is not going to run right, and it's not going to like that I put that 87 gas into it. So it's the same thing with the body. And I just think that's just a life principle for me. And I just continue to build on these principles, on my habits, on, my routine, because, that's the game changer. So.
I really love what you're saying there, Curtis. And what I'm taking away from what you're saying is that very often people see the success story, but the work, the commitment to get there is what most people do not see. And I love that you talk about rest, you talk about food, you talk about commitment to the exercise, you talk about mindset. And all of these things are things that happens in the abstract, because most people are not seeing what you're doing. They just see the success story. Um, all of that, I believe, applies to business also. And what I'm really happy about is that you're very aggressive. I mean, I've seen this. I've seen that you show up, you put your value proposition out there, and you are just opening the door for connection to take place. And I do believe that that's one thing that has really allowed us to connect. I see now that you're moving or you're combining your knowledge of sports to to business, because you're also pursuing your master's in finance, I believe that is, right? Yeah.
Correct. Well,
And that is fantastic. I really love that. Now, let's talk about business now. I know that you have purchased a company, and you're into real estate development, real estate construction. Let's talk a little bit about that. What I love about that is that, one, I know for sure that you know where you're going. You're connecting with the right people. I'm happy that we are supporting you in that process. I think that you are in contact with one financial institution so far. We are currently engaged in a few other stakeholders for you to ensure that you get the kind of funding to move the real estate portfolio forward. But tell us now about the mindset behind real estate development. Is this a money-making venture? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with making money. Is it a humanitarian effort, or is it a combination of both? Because I think I read your profile. I went through some of your documents, and I believe I distinctly extracted that you want to provide low-cost housing to people across America.
Yeah, that's one aspect. But for me, it's always passion. I love real estate. I love houses, and just the whole game of property. And just understanding that that's a vehicle to build true generational wealth. So for me, getting into it, I took the approach of getting a construction company because I'm something that I can build, something that isn't a red flag or a high risk business, and it allows me to come into space and have so many options, whether I can bid on federal contracts to be able to provide affordable housing, or if I can get into the new development home space, building new development homes, or, luxury, or we talk about multi-families as well. So it's so many different things that I wanted to do other than getting into the space with capital, fixing and flipping, and just doing it typically. So that was the brains and the thought process behind me getting into construction, because you talk about developing and building, and I just thought, well, if I'm able to really hone in and figure this lane out, now this can open so many doors, because now this will allow me to meet with architects, developers, contractors. Now I can start exploring and opening my mindset to start building things and having my own eye set to these different developments when I even talk about my own projects. And specifically that part, is a big passion of mine, is finances. So being able to lend, being able to solve a problem with most investors have, and I've seen it even getting into this space outside of my athletic career. So I've had a lot of time to myself to figure out my passion, what I want to do, what I like, controlling the money market. I wanted to do this at a very, very high level because I want to be a smart investor, a smart businessman, a smart business owner. So I looked at it in the sense of, well, all these investors, when you get into money in the real estate, you got to pay to play. It takes money to make money. So if I can have a construction company that I can incorporate and I can build, it is solid, then I come and really get into the lending space, the mortgage space. Now I've solved the problem of access to capital. Not only can I fund my own deals and scale and make life easier, but now I can help other investors or entrepreneurs with money and solve that issue as well, because I see that that's a big problem. And finances is one of the top industries in the world. And to be very clear, this gives me the same type of lifestyle that I'm already accustomed to being a professional athlete. And I'm also breaking that stigma of a lot of professional athletes don't know how to manage money. So I challenged myself to get back in school to learn these things, because I've always been business minded and I've always wanted to go to school for business. But again, these last couple of years, I've taken 100% control over my situation in my life because I know how I'm trying to do it. So now if I'm controlling the money, if I'm solving this problem, things are going to open for me on a whole bigger level. I'm able to do bigger deals, bigger contracts. I'm able to sit at the table and build these relationships and accumulate. And we go back to the skill set, the mindset, the personality. I feel like I could sit at the table with the best in the world, because these are the guys, these are the people that I see myself like, and I see how these people do business. So that's what really attracted me to the finance space and the construction space, man. And I know I'll be able to solve many more problems, which is why I went the way I went. So
again, I can listen to you speak all the time. I really love that, you're crossing over to business. You have crossed over to business, but you're not thinking small. And I really love also that you're talking about, one, you can teach a man to fish, but that may feed the man for one day or for a week. But if the man owns the fish pond, if he owns the fish pond, he can feed himself for a lifetime. I'm going to come right back to that just now. But I love that we're talking finance because, and I love that you're connecting yourself with people that understand the platform. And, I really love that. And it's largely because of that, I say, Let us connect and let me see how much I can, contribute to that process. One of the things that we have also seen that accessing capital, it's a problem for most people. But when you get past the access, there's what we call the leverage aspect. There must be smart leverage. And I'm happy to be alongside you to be bringing this kind of, info to you. But then there's also what we call the debt mitigation. And this is something that most people who are buying debt don't really understand. If you understand the debt mitigation process, you're able to save hundreds of thousands and perhaps millions of dollars on the debt portfolio, depending on the size of it. So I said all of this to say that I'm happy of where you're at, and I'm happy that we are able to bring that entire ecosystem to provide the intervention. Now, I've spoken to you, and what I've learned, I really love that you are not just, a guy of words. You are a visionary. I love that. You are positioning yourself to become a global thinker, social actors, and transformational leader, as I would say it, as I would see it. I said all of this largely based on the fact that you are not only learning finance at this stage, but you are actively positioning yourself to become an investor, to become a private equity partner, to actually build that bank. Would you care to tell us just a little bit about that big vision? I really love it, and I already indicate that we have started to talk with some of our colleagues out of the UK. And as we begin to go deeper into that vision, as we begin to build more synergy, we're definitely happy to come alongside you with these additional support. But share with us, what is that big vision that you have there?
As far as
how far you plan to go as a financial expert?
For me, I want to build a very successful commercial lending business, and just getting into that space, doing whether I'm closing transactions on big business deals, I'm having access at the highest level. So if I have a successful business in this space, I want to do it at the world-class level, and sitting in with venture capitalists or these private firms, private equity, knowing how to do certain capital raises, but coming in and knowing how to actually, lend money, and market that on that scale. I think once I have my own company, even talking about from a loan processor or having the relationships directly with the lender, and now I'm the lender. I'm learning a lot even about table funding right now when you talk about, brokering deals. So I'm looking to do this at a very high level because of the systems that I plan to put in place to be able to operate and scale.
Brilliant. All right. Who would you define as your ideal clients? Are you building out your brand because you want to, who are your ideal clients? Is it to impact the disadvantaged community? Is it to impact, businesses general? Or, tell us a little bit about who is your ideal clientele base.
From the finance, from the lending standpoint? From the lending standpoint?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So I think my clientele, basically, investors, investors who need help with capital, who's looking to scale, business owners, small business owners, people like this, people that's in the same type of environment and field that I'm in. Young business owners. I think as well, when I talk about how I can package this and just my platform that I have, it's a lot of my colleagues are people that look up to me. So even when you talk about the younger generation, I want to be able to talk about finances and talk about how to start your own business, how to get into this space, how to break that narrative, how to set yourself up to give yourself that stability and really break into that financial freedom and really start changing people's lives. Because I think that's when it's really going to get fun. But of course, right now, my focus is really honing in on the skill, having success, figuring it out and going out there, putting in that work. Same thing I did in the sporting world. But I just think when you talk about this, and really having success, I'm already going to target people who's already looking for that next level in life, and once you attach it to the results, I mean, you just speak to the people at that point.
All right, great point. Great point. I really love that. All right. How do you see yourself as an entrepreneur? I mean, what is unique that you're bringing to the arena of business? I've listened to you on many platforms. We have talked on many platforms, and what I gather is that you want to bring a mindset to business. And that mindset that you want to bring is that discipline that you would have learned as an athlete over to business. Would you say that that is what is unique about what you're doing? Because the last time we talked, what I told you is that I respect athletes because of the discipline, and I respect anyone with a military background. Because to rise in the ranks of those two fields, you have to be exceptionally disciplined. And what I've seen is that when those persons decide to take up business, they do well because they're already disciplined. So what is unique? What would you say is unique about you as you now cross over to business? What unique value proposition are you bringing?
Yeah, definitely my mindset. Sure, and how disciplined I am, the consistency, the passion, I think, is the big part, the drive, and really being a student of the game. And I think I have a curiosity about me. I'm a student I'm a student first. I'm very intelligent. I can retain information fast. And once I dial in and set my mind to something, it's just really ain't no stopping. I don't have an in between. I would never, like, I'm not going to go into this trying to be the second best. And what I mean by that, I'm always going to come into this thing feeling like I got to figure out to go to the next level. It's always the next level. I'm trying to mirror myself and scale up. I don't have the complacency mindset, and I can't speak for other people, but I just know, especially in this arena, just like with anything else, what's going to separate the top 1% in the world at everybody being the best at something. So I know now I got to prepare myself, which is why I'm learning as much as I can. I'm learning from the top people off experiences, being smart, investing into myself, knowing how to get capital and reinvest into myself. I think that's the biggest thing, because I know how to delegate. I know about delegations. I know about having a team, so when other people are be hesitant about certain things, I'm very clear on certain investments that's going to help me go to that next level. So everything is already in motion. It's like a domino effect for me, and I know I'm gonna stay at it. When other people's are, quitting it, and like I told you earlier, that routine, that discipline, that schedule that I have, I could take this in any aspect of my life. So that's what I'm gonna bring to the table, and I'm results driven. So
I have no doubts about that. I have no doubt. All right. I have two more questions I want to ask you, and that is one: how do you want to be remembered as an athlete, as an entrepreneur?
yeah, as an athlete, I want to remembered as one of the greatest to do it, one that gave his everything to it, never cheated the process, did it the right way, and really was a grinder, and overcame certain things and just got stronger through it. Somebody who really represents hard work, dedication, a true champion. That's how I always view myself in my career, just whatever a true champion is. And it's going to be different phases of this story, which is why it's so important to complete each chapter. No chapter goes, uncompleted. And the story must get told, and the story must get completed. So when they look back on it and they speak, they know, man, this Curtis Mitchell kid was special, which is why I'm trying to fulfill, my talents and my obligations of, in that respective discipline. Same thing as a businessman. I want to leave a legacy. I want to put people in position. I want to scale. That's what I see myself really coming into this, scaling, growing, having amazing partnerships, and doing it at a very, very high level so that I can leave back a mark and I'm remembered forever. Getting into a space like this can change a lot of lives, and what I'm trying to do. So I just pray that, I'm able to, change a lot of lives, build great relationships, and be known for, like you said, a worldwide thought leader, somebody who really came in and left his mark in that space.
Love all of that. Again, we're happy to be alongside you, providing you with some of those technical resources and connecting you with critical financial institution. I know you're already in contact with one of them, and we'll continue to do more to ensure that we can really help you to position your brand out there. Having said that, is there any last word that you want to say? Anything that you want to say that I might not have asked?
Nah, that was that's some really great points. I'm just thankful that you had me. This is awesome. I really enjoyed it. So I say that.
Awesome, my friend. All right, I must say, well, for the viewing public, wherever you're viewing from across the world, we are talking today with Curtis Mitchell. He is no ordinary person. He is a world-class athlete, having run and compete against Usain Bolt, and he came out absolutely successful. He's our bronze winner. All right, so I trust that you learned something from his discipline, because to be successful in life or in business, you must be disciplined. So I trust that you learned a lot from him today. Curtis, it has really been a pleasure being with you today. And we have a lot of talking to do. And I'll be talking with you either later today or tomorrow.
Sounds good, man. Thanks.
All right, my brother. All the best. All right, take care.